Very nice glasses.
Thank you. Thank you. After the night out last night, at the Irish pub, I needed something with the bright lights in my face.
Yeah, a bit for the hangover. Okay, are we ready to start?
Whenever we're ready,
So
always
let's
ready.
say welcome to CDLAN, and they will do the talk about how they chose Apache CloudStack. Round of applause, please.
Thank you. Well, first, a shameless plug, obviously, for Store Pool that are saving my eyes today. So, anyways, CDLAN, talked a little bit about, why we chose CloudStack and who we are. And so, up on stage, we have Brian Turnbow and Marco Ziglioli. Some of these last names can be a little bit difficult, so we're just Brian and Marco. Please don't shorten it more to BM, because that has a very negative context in English, so just Brian and Marco. And, so we wanted you to, first meet CDLAN, tell you a little bit about, who we are and the journey that we've come to and what we do. We offer services to business and enterprise customers, pretty large-scale businesses, and also, some infrastructure services to cloud providers and also telco providers in Italy. And if we look about who we are and what we did, in 2000, our founder Corrado Del Po founded CDLAN, and it was an IT consultancy firm. We did IT stuff. In 2000, a lot of you are pretty young, but the guys with the gray hair, we remember 2000. Internet was really a big thing, and so we became an internet service provider. Got our telco license in Italy. We built out, in Milan, we have our own proprietary fiber network, because that's where we're based, and that's where most of our business comes from, is the Milan metro area. And we started looking into, there's this cloud stuff going on, and so in 2013, we started offering some virtual machines, it was YAS, in the beginning of times. In 2015, our founder is kind of a crazy guy, and we're located in the Caldera Business Park in Milan. I don't know if any of you have ever been to Milan, but the Caldera Business Park in Milan was like where the first telehouse in Italy started, and it's still today the biggest area where you can find connectivity. All the telco providers, the fiber comes in, lands in Milan, lands in the Caldera Park. Not just, telco providers, not just Italian, big-time providers, all the cloud providers are there, So Corrado was there, and he said, well, you know what? Caldera Park was a bunch of offices that got converted into data centers. Let's do something radical. And he dug a big, giant hole in the middle of it, and we built a Tier 4 data center. So we're the only Tier 4 data center in Caldera Park. It's called C21. And if you want to come to Milan and connect with people, we've got the highest density that you can find in all of Italy. So we went to Rome because you have to have some sort of a business continuity offering, and that's what we do mostly now. In the middle, we became a benefit company, did all the carbon neutral stuff, go green, all that big push. But now what we focus on is working with our customers to build out solutions that are fully redundant, on a fiber optic network. You have the fibers that come in on both sides of the building. We've got the data center with, our services in Milan and in Rome for building out fully resilient platforms. This is our, Corrado, I had to show his picture. This is the crazy guy that dug the hole. When he started digging the hole, everybody was going, what the hell are you doing? And that was him. And had to have a shameless plug-in for him, because otherwise we wouldn't be here without him. So what we do today, we do the infrastructure, we do the data center, we do the cloud, we do the network. So we build out the fiber, we have the data center, we build the cloud services. We have a group inside of us that now does the managed services. So we offer, directly to the customers a full 360-degree service. And that's basically what we have here: colocation, business continuity, cybersecurity, voice and connectivity, because obviously, voice is a commodity. I didn't even talk about it before, but, you can't not have it, so that's what people want. And so, going into tomorrow, we're trying to make this thing work with the sustainability. Some people have talked about it already. Energy is a real driving force, and it's becoming, harder and harder to source energy. Where we are in the Caldera Park, one of our limitations is going to be that right now. We have a data center. We can get up to about almost 5 megawatts of power in our data center. Beyond that, the provider says, no way. So one of our things now is trying to make it sustainable, trying to use the resources that we have to be able to continue to build out our services, continue to satisfy our customers' needs, and CloudStack in some ways helps with that. Just a little bit by our numbers, we've got over 250 active businesses that use our services. We've got almost 1,500 meters of data rooms, carbon neutral. One thing that we do that a lot of cloud providers maybe, or some of the people that are offering the infrastructure in the cloud services don't do is we go full 10 gig up to the virtual machine. And that's something that a lot of our customers that are real enterprise level customers are really happy to see. And that's something that a lot of them don't find otherwhere. They got 1 gig ports and everything. So we do full 10 gig ports right up to the virtual machine. Obviously, your servers, you can't guarantee 10 gig to every single VM, but we have a lot of customers that come to our platform because of this. So it's a small little thing, but it's really something that the customers, especially the big guys, really like. And so that was my real brief introduction to what CDLAN is and what we do. Now I know this is CloudStack, so I don't want to steal all of your time. I've got Marco here, who is the responsible of all of our cloud division, and so he's going to take over from here and show us a little bit more about our platform and what we do.
Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks, Ryan. Let's start. Let's think a little bit more harder. Okay, this is more or less our infrastructure in CDLAN of CloudStack, and as you can see, we got an infrastructure for us. I'll introduce later for our customer, and we got also on our data center in Rome a disaster recovery solution where we run that is ready to support us in case of issues. We've got mainly KVM solution, some SXI solution for the customer who want to stay on SXI for their reason, and of course a set of storages from performance one, from hybrid one, to keep the data disk of the VM, and so on. And as you can see, we got 3 high-performance link across between the 2 data centers that follow the geographic of Italy. So we have 3 different paths that follow different paths from a geographical point of view, in order to gain the maximum viability of the connection between the data centers. Okay, numbers. Got 7+1 KVM host for customers. +1 because we implemented the HA solution to tolerate the fault of one node, totally one node. We got 3 nodes, 3 SXI nodes for customers, 4 KVM host for us, and a small footprint in the DRR with the 3 KVM nodes, HV6I node again for customer. The data center in Rome is shared, so it is used either for us and also for customers. Some number, okay. This is our zone, so dedicated to us. 2 data centers, 1 dedicated zone, 4 hosts, 1 full NVMe storage, and hybrid storage. We got more or less 200 VM running, so 200 workloads for us to implement our business. And this is the core RAM, and this is the primary storage allocated today. This is for the customer. The things become more hotter. 7 hosts, 3 dedicated hosts. Again, the same infrastructure as for the storage, but for around 500 VM and a good set of virtual CPU allocated, RAM, and primary storage. And finally, this is the situation of the DR in Rome with a small footprint for the VM. Okay, the history of, okay, you know, this is the typical slide, the history of CloudStack in CDLAN. So we start running CDLAN from version 4.3 in 2014. And as, let's say, a lab test in order to understand the product, and we gain experience. We gain experience during the year, but the big change start on 2021, where we signed the first big contract with the customer that finally creates on our infrastructure virtual PBX for to sell to the customer, and we raise the load to in minutes to 200 VMs, and after that, on 2023, we start a project to rebuild the cluster that we are going to complete this year, and we've got some idea for the next year. The growth in numbers. Okay, as you can see, in 2014, no customers, no VM, and just internal VM. And here is the growth during the years. We got the first big jump here, 2020, 2022, and we plan in the next year to increase the number. And I'm going to explain you which is our idea. Because today we've got 70% of customers that are direct customers, but we got also 30% of customers that are partners. In 2023, we launched a partner program called Horizon, and this year we consolidated this partner program because we saw that finally partner already sells and gave us more revenues than direct customers. So we want to increase the business through the partners, and we want to increase the services to the partner. And which is the services for the partner? A white label platform. We created a dedicated white label interface with the logo of the partner, but also the partner can bring on our infrastructure their domain name. So it's totally white label. API access, it's required by partner that can interact with the platform from their portals. Training and knowledge transfer. We are available for partner for knowledge transfer, for dedicated training. Normally we don't organize webinars or something like that. We do direct training to the partner. We do call, trying to fix the issue directly with them, and special discount. Okay, of course, special discount and rebate program. Okay. During the first part of this year, more or less on March, we had an event with partners and customers, and we asked them during a session to use a word to tell us what they think about CloudStack, about the solution, about our infrastructure as a service solution. And after that, we filter, we try to differentiate what customers said and what partners said. And it was interesting because we saw that definitely we got more or less the same answer, but partners like tenants because they can sell to their customer, creating tenants, subtenants, and they can the simple provisioning we provide for them, and the white label model. The white label model is very interesting. Something more. We've got a data center. We've got 2 data centers, but mainly one in Milan. And we got many customers, but also partners that has hardware inside our data center in co-location mode. And through L2 networks, we give them the possibility to interconnect their infrastructure, the equipment directly with the CloudStack. So we've got, for example, we got a partner with AES-400 inside our data center in colocation, but with several VM on CloudStack that directly interconnect with AES-400. And another thing that we delivered this year, so in 2024, is the possibility. Sorry. The possibility for the customer or for the partner to bring their own IP addresses directly on the infrastructure. So they are able to bring their IP addresses, their public IP addresses directly on the VM. Okay, work in progress. We did a presentation yesterday. We are trying to integrating WireGuard inside the VPN system. We are working on them. We are working on this topic in order to obtain better VPN performance, finally better VPN performance, and another more secure way, another more modern VPN directly on the platform. White label offering, we are working on improving the custom UI, bringing more information directly on the custom UI. For example, the billing information. Today, the customer can see the resources used, but they cannot see how are going to spam. And VM migration automation. Why this? Because we are facing some customer that starts running the platform, the service in infrastructure as a service, and after that ask us for private cloud. So to have hardware totally dedicated. So we're working on automation on some script that can bring the VM directly with one click and move directly on the private cloud of the customer. And finally, we want to move from on VXLAN on KVM in order to gain better performance and also enlarge the possibility to interconnect the data center to the data center, so the colocation solution to the platform.
Yeah, because we already have a BGP VPN network, so we have VXLAN already inside the data centers in Milan and Rome. We do MPLS between the data centers, so we have the full possibility to provide layer 2 connectivity between Milan and Rome, and we're wanting to bring this down inside directly to the KVM machines and instead of having to export a VLAN directly into the network.
Okay, guys, that's all. Finally, we know we've got a small infrastructure, but we are here because we believe in CloudStack. We believe in the platform, and we think that CloudStack is the right solution to help us growing our business. So we are working on this. We want to actively participate and communicate to develop some new solution for the infrastructure. If you got questions, we're here for you. Yeah, thanks a lot.
One thing maybe I just wanted to add is the fact that if we look at now as opposed to years past. We have a lot of infrastructure, private clouds and whatnot, that are all based on the name we cannot name. They are now looking into, okay, but can we bring that into CloudStack? Before there was a lot of, if you want to say animosity, there was a lot of, people were afraid, to maybe go into an open source type of project like this. But we are seeing now that they're open to discussing it. And because we're offering something that's everybody's talked about it. You have a private infrastructure. Your data is there. We're in Italy. We guarantee all the Italian laws that maybe if you go to Frankfurt or even inside the EU, it's a little bit different. And so that's one of the things in the independence that we saw in the slides that the customer is saying. We're seeing that now as it's becoming a driver, and this is CloudStack is an habilitating platform for that.
Questions?
Thank you for presenting. Quick question. So I've seen you have a DR site. How do you synchronize data between sites, and how do you, in the case of a failure, plan to start the VMs there? Or can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Okay. Thank you for the question. Yes, we got some different way. Mainly, we use the snapshot, the snapshot copy directly on the ROM zone. After that, we take the image and we create the VM. And we got also on top, we also partner with Vim. We can use a solution based on Vim to copy the VM directly inside with the agent. And okay, to manage the DR, we've got a plan. So finally, we got a plan. We got a well-designed plan that we test regularly that help us to take all the steps to go in DR. We didn't support any kind of business continuity. This is just a DR side. So or the workloads, or it's running on Milan, or it's running on Rome, not part on a side and part on the other.
Any other questions? Are you sure you have more questions, Usha?
Can you tell me a little bit about the custom interface for CloudStack that you're using? You mentioned you're adding some billing components to it potentially.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
You mentioned that for the white label, you have a custom interface for CloudStack. Can you just tell me a bit more about that? Like, kind of share your approach? Like, why didn't you buy an off-the-shelf tool versus build something, I guess?
To answer the reason, I have to ask my colleagues that are on the stage. Maybe later I can give you some. They can give you some detail regarding the white label you have.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, Joel, just maybe a little bit of background on that is we have our own customer portal too as well that was built in-house. We have a pretty good development department, and some of the integration that was done is kind of connecting, if you want to say those two, whereas if we went into something that you bought, we would still have to customize it to bring this into play, you know, it's all in Italian, so a lot of people maybe don't support that as well, you know, so that the localization was another factor that looking into that. It's true, you know, most of them have the, you know, custom languages that you can go in and change. We have another division of the company we didn't talk about today that's called Prometheus that sells directly online, and they, you know, they do that through custom, if you saw off the shelf, you know, on platforms such as HostBill and stuff. So they've done the integration between CloudStack there and use that. So we do that on the public-facing side, if you want to say, that we didn't talk about here. We talked about just what we're doing in the B2B corporate market. And in the corporate market, the main driver was the fact that, you know, we integrated into our custom portal.
More questions?
This was probably a question for yesterday's talk, which I missed. The WireGuard implementation that you are working on, is that for user access or for site-to-site or both?
For both. For both.
All right, cool. And have you had issues with WireGuard being able or unable to push the required routes, advertise the required routes for the client, the routes for the cloud setup?
We're working on it. We are at design phase. We're working on it. We met behind finally a lab that make us know that it's working. But we are developing all the integration required to bring the feature online. So I don't know. During the next year, we are going to work to develop and deploy this feature.
Yeah, and the idea is to have, you know, for the routing part and whatnot, it would be statically done. It would be the customer that uploads, you know, the site IP addresses for the site-to-site type stuff directly. So it would be the customer that would put it in, and the routing would be created statically at the moment.
Okay. A quick adjacent question. Have you looked at OpenVPN before going for a WireGuard?
Yeah.
And what made you?
We choose WireGuard because it's quite it's faster and more secure.
All right. Thank you.
Welcome.
Any other questions? If not, some applause for CDLAN, for Marco and for Brian.
Thank you.
And whoever's talking next, I suggest the glasses because the lights, you know.
Next talk will start at 10:50 and will be back row by Jimsy, so we expect you here in approximately 15 minutes.